Welcome to another installment of Wine Tasting with Giants, and I have a giant here, in my opinion. I have Michael Keenan of Keenan Winery, one of my favorite wineries that I've tasted a lot at Napa and Sonoma, but I love this one specifically. So before we get into his story and how he got here, I wanted to taste a bottle of his. It's his 2008 Napa Valley Merlot. And cheers. Thanks for letting me have a conversation with you.
Great. Good to see you, Jay.
Good to see you too. I know normally I do the nose first, but I couldn't wait to get to the to get this on the palate. It has a little bit of age on it. It was about 9 years old. Beautifully elegant on the palate. It's one thing I love about Keenan Merlot is they tend to be a little bit more rustic. So they give a little bit more complexity in the mid palate to the finish. It's very long finish, silky smooth throughout the palate. Has this like really kind of dark cherry thing. What's the history behind the bottling of this wine specifically?
Well, originally my father's vision was this was going to be a left bank estate, so it's going to be Cabernet Sauvignon focused. And Merlot was planted as a blending tool.
Okay.
But once we began to grow Merlot up here and realized how much structure the mountain Merlot had, we planted more, and we almost grow as much Merlot right now as
Cabernet. Interesting.
And then this blend, which is roughly 3/4 estate Merlot from the 3 different vineyards, and 1/4 Carneros Merlot, we've been making for 20 years.
Wow.
And then we also do a single vineyard Carneros and a single vineyard estate.
So you kind of go head to head to see like which fruit is better every once in a while, or do you have it? If you're doing single varietal, single estate, do you do a lot of comparison between the two? Or do you do that?
Sure. I mean, they're very different. Okay. Carneros being a low elevation site produces a softer Merlot with a little bit more plummier tones, but also a nice bright cherry.
Gotcha.
And a lower tannin profile.
Gotcha.
But also maintains a really good acid profile because Carneros is cool because of the bay influence.
Gotcha.
Up here on the mountain, with the stress of elevation, the vines produce a smaller diameter berry, so more skin to pulp ratio.
Okay.
Therefore, more color, darker color, more tannins and more complex phenolics. So a bigger, more structured, darker, full-bodied Merlot.
That can rival like a Cabernet in most any other place, in my opinion. Yeah.
Well, its nickname for almost 30 years has been the Cab Lover's Merlot.
Yeah, I mean,
because of its structure. It
makes sense. I mean, it's so well balanced. Like my mouth, like this, the finish is so long. I took a sip a minute and a half ago, and I'm still tasting it. Yeah. Like that nice little kind of. There's a little plumminess on the finish too that just kicked in for me that I really, really like. So anyway, I love this wine. Let's get into why I brought you on the show. So this is one of the few still generational wineries that I've seen in Napa. What I've been hearing, or keeping my ear to the ground, is that a lot of bigger companies have been coming through and buying up a lot of the different wineries around here. So with that being said, how long have you guys been here?
We finished our 40th harvest last fall, 2016.
Wow, that's a long time.
So it seems like a long time to us. Although I think if you look at the world wine business in Europe, that's a very small amount of time.
Gotcha.
So I think of Napa as a very young industry.
Oh, definitely. It's still considered, in my opinion, compared to everywhere else, it's still kind of new world type of wines. But you guys are producing amazing world class wines.
Well, I think we've learned in 40 years how to make what we consider our terroir-based wines. Okay. Which was what our goal was from the very beginning. Wines that reflect the characteristics from where they're grown. They're
sense of
unique
place.
In that way, sense of place. And the two defining principles my father taught me as a kid that great wines should do are improve in the cellar with age. 9-year-old Merlot.
Love
fantastic.
It is fantastic.
And wine should go with food. And those are the two criteria of great wines. Go with food and get better with age.
It's a very European idea.
Yeah, it's exactly what it is.
It's
that's where it came from.
Yeah.
And my father's exposure to wine began when he married my mom in 1952. It happened to marry a young gal whose parents had a cellar full of great Burgundy and Bordeaux. And Dad was exposed to that and taught, the whole thing about buy great wines, age them, they go with food, they make food better. And he took to it like a duck to water.
I could imagine.
And then he began to, educate us as San Francisco in the 20s and 30s, that they did well commercially. They were all contractors and whatnot, but he'd never seen a bottle of wine in his life.
Interesting.
And then happened to marry a young gal, mostly Irish history, but a family that had been enjoying French wines for a long time.
So that's what got him into it. So with you, prior to you, coming into the winery or to the vineyard, what were you doing prior to this? Like, what was your profession of choice?
I hadn't really made one by the time I was 19, which was that I ended up working here when I was 19. Actually, I wanted to be an ornithologist.
Oh, interesting.
That was my big interest in high school. Started an ornithology department in my high school in Santa Barbara. Left high school, took a year off, went around the world. By the time I came back from that trip, was no longer really interested in drinking or found a brewery in India, and I was living the vegetarian life and meditating and went to look for a job as an ornithologist. They were all volunteer jobs. Dad said, "Why don't you come work for me for the harvest?" And I went, okay, almost reluctantly.
You're like, I don't know about
and
this.
Came up here and worked the first harvest. Loved working here, but didn't really see a future for me being here since I didn't care about wine anymore. And then left. Ended up getting a job from the contractor who was doing the original remodel of the winery, because the building here is 113 years old.
113 years old.
Yeah, the cellar downstairs, which is virtually unchanged. And then we had to rebuild the upstairs, which had fallen away in disrepair. And then we actually just remodeled it 2 years ago.
Yeah, I'll get you guys some shots of this later on. It's a beautiful tasting room. So,
now you can see out the window.
Yeah, I know. And there's a nice little balcony and whatnot. So when you came here, how long have you been with the winery yourself? Like, how long have you been pretty much?
I came back in 1998.
Okay.
Essentially, my dad retired.
Gotcha.
At that point, I was back in the wine drinking game. And he pretty much retired and said, "Hey, you come back and take it over. I'm going to sell it."
Okay.
So hitting on your theme of multi-generational wineries, I had to make the choice then in '98, is this going to keep in the family? Because Dad said, "Look, I'm going to sell it. If you're not interested, I'm going to sell it. So I'm done. I've had my time and I'm retired now, and it's you or I'm going to sell it."
What a way to get you your head like focused.
Oh, yeah, it got me focused pretty quickly. At the time, I was a general contractor working in East Bay. I had a partner. We had a wonderful company. We've done the cover of Fine Home Building a couple times. We were a going concern. So I thought this was a big decision. But I came back up here where I hadn't been for a number of years. And anyone who does come up here will have the same impression.
Yeah.
When I came back up here, I thought I must keep this in the family.
It's beautiful.
It's an incredible asset.
The land too. It's just it's remarkable. But you guys been over there.
At the time, I was 40 years old. And thought, well, I can do two businesses at the same time. I'm Superman. And that worked for about 3 years.
So when you took over, you said originally your father wanted to grow just mostly Cab, and then Merlot was kind of a blending.
Yeah.
Did you guys, when you took over, did you guys plant any new grapes? Has there been some new ones added to your portfolio?
When I came back in '98, he had just replanted 45 out of 50 acres due to mostly disease.
Oh, I got you.
So my job was to figure out how well did we do in those decisions, and in the meantime buy grapes and try to make wine and make money before the estate stuff kicked back in.
Gotcha.
But I had the idea that I should review the entire portfolio. And one thing I came with was that template of French wines that was driven to me by my father, which was all about terroir. So one thing I thought was a mystery here was, why are we growing a Burgundy white and Bordeaux reds? It didn't make any sense to me using that old world template. We should be growing, if this is Bordeaux country, we should be growing Sauvignon Blanc.
Agreed.
We just replanted this vineyard in '95, so I thought, I can't rip it out now. I should at least wait for it to mature to see how good it is. And this is what I call the magical vineyard. This is 6 acres of Chardonnay that we haven't watered in 17 years.
Wow.
So it's a mountain dry farm Chardonnay site, which is now very rare in Napa where Chardonnay comes from.
I've never even heard of it. Never even heard of that.
And it produces a spectacular, non-malolactic, mostly neutral barrel fermented Chardonnay. So.
All right. So I wanted to thank you for sitting with us. I had a great conversation with you about this wonderful land that you have here. And if you guys get a chance, please check out Keenan Winery on Spring Mountain. There's a lot of other wineries around here, and they're good too. But definitely check this one out. This is amazing fruit, amazing quality, and high acid. That's what I like. So anyway, cheers. Thank you so much for helping me out with this.
Great to see you.
Cheers, guys. Till next time.